Welcome and ahoy. I wanted to share with you, dear internet friends, a little something I've been working on for 2 days, which is to send entirely customized LinkedIn messages for LinkedIn outbound prospecting. Is this a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Do we know if it's a good idea? No, because I've only done this for 2 days and it takes literally forever on N8N to actually write these messages. Fun facts. In the past, it was not great expense, but it was reasonable expense. I had my team develop a similar solution because at the time, I think 4.0 was the latest and greatest. If you can imagine, 4.0 was the latest and greatest in AI. Disgusting, I know. And if you tried 4.0 for copywriting, it was horrendous. So I didn't trust it. And I said, well, I wonder, will we get rich if we can use AI to write a single sentence which draws context from the LinkedIn profile, something like a show me you know me, if you're familiar with that. I forget the chick who popularized the term show me you know me, but it's essentially, this is not automated outreach. It could never be automated outreach. This person says something about a blog post that I made, right? But yeah, those authentic touches do help a lot, even when done en masse. I know that from 10, 12 years of experience doing this. But I wonder, would that compliment help? The answer is no. It was awful. It used a lot of characters, which are vital in your intro message. It squeezed out my space to explain the value prop. I strongly prefer, for a lot of reasons we're not going to get into right now, that the value prop is essential in the early intro message, because I'm not going for acceptance. I'm going for appointments with my clients. It was a fun little experiment. It did get my sales guy got his LinkedIn account banned because we were looking at profiles a little bit too fast. We're looking at profiles too fast. So I found multiple workarounds around this. A couple of other fun facts. AI is now wonderful with copy, and God bless Google. Hallelujah, Google, for Gemini 2 point whatever. Doesn't even matter what it is. Gemini, frankly, is just so much better with copy, and the context window, not having to worry about the context window helps a lot. So we have an alternative, and it does not involve any sort of scraping, at least on the conventional sense. You see it pumping away here. I can't, well, I don't know. I don't know if I'll show you the guts here necessarily. We will certainly describe the process. But I'm optimistic. A lot of what I have gotten from this approach so far is actually a very strong personalized intro message that would be the equivalent of what a biz dev or a BD would actually be doing if they were doing by hand LinkedIn invites. I see possibilities for the future, such as using the AI to craft somewhat personalized follow-up messages. If you're not familiar, LinkedIn Outreach is an extremely viable channel, particularly for small teams. It is lucrative in a lot of ways because we get a much warmer reception generally, and it's ideal, for example, when I was requesting demos for Nurturely. I wanted, hey, dear friend, please help me beta test my stupid little SaaS that is irrelevant to you. I try to hone in on the prospect list a little bit better than that. And Nurturely is not stupid, but at the time it certainly was. The reception was overwhelmingly positive to the tune of, let's say, several yeses a day, probably 3 to 5 yeses a day. And then that would translate down to 3 to 5 demos per week, or beta test introduction, etc. Pretty decent. Over cold email, the beta test language netted nil, zilch, 0. So LinkedIn is valuable for channel partners as well. This kind of like warm, touchy-feely environment where it's your face is right there. We're connected, or we're connecting, and we are just wonderful people in love with each other, networking. The channel partner approach is super, super lucrative. So I've actually incorporated that into this particular N8N flow. I will say the duration of these calls makes no sense. I call Gemini all the time, and look at that. What is going on? It's like 30 seconds a Gemini call. This has been running for hours. I'm through 157 of 400 lines. Ew. Doesn't really make sense why it takes so long. All right. Now, can I expose some of the nodes? This is not a proprietary reason as much as a reason I'm not going to explain to maintain mystery. You know, wonderful, wonderful mystery. But basically here, I have a form. The form is amazing. It's a wonderful form. If you click this form and you looked at the form, we would encounter the exact issue that I wanted to obscure. But here we are. All right, the form. Damn. All right. We're gonna pause it. We're gonna pause it. We're gonna cut that part of the video. All right. So look at this. We have a form. This is the test version of your form. I want to be able to plug in variables, and then I want to be able to utilize certain context based on the variables of what I'm doing. I've run LinkedIn campaigns for over a decade, and I know the basic gist of what we need to do. So I need to ensure that the AI understands what I do when it is writing the messages that it is going to do 100% spun by hand, right? By the AI's hand. So let's do this. We'll do nurturally because I'm happy to talk about that. So my value prop, automate sales follow-up. What are we going to do? Automate sales follow-up, find stale leads, and generate hundreds of thousands in pipeline in minutes. Save 80% of a BDR's time. BDR, SDR time. And then what is it? 90 bucks a month? I'm raising the price per seat. Cool. So in my value prop field, you're gonna have to do this on your own. I'm not giving it away. You think I'm giving it away? Leave me a bunch of comments. Like, subscribe, send me hate mail. That's the only way I'm giving it away. So there's a particular reason that this does not have line breaks. The example, it's even more important probably to have line breaks for readability purposes, like to have a nice text area. It just kind of complicates my JSON. I don't want to deal with it. So the value prop is, what am I actually able to pitch or sell to these people? There are two separate things that Nurturely does really, really well. One is it automates sales follow-up. This is traditionally called lead nurturing. So it's typically long sales cycle leads. Find stale leads and generate thousands in pipeline in minutes. This is done by parsing through the inbox and then finding a bunch of leads that you probably could have, would have, should have followed up with, and then reactivating them by sending them perfect emails. So my problem, in part for Nurturely, is I haven't integrated those two value offerings. So we're just going to give the AI both and let the AI work that context. Finally, we can claim this. This is almost a third UVP that I want to add in the event that this list it's relevant for the list. The list I'm going to work off of is a handful of LinkedIn profiles, I think for sales directors. So in that case, this could be the most relevant offering. I am going to include the price. This is critical for my particular flow because you're going to see what I'm going to ask Perplexity. We are going to call Perplexity. We're going to call Gemini as well. And I need to make sure that people actually buy stuff and that they can afford to use this. All right. Now, an example. You know, the funny thing about example is the example is what I used to do, right? I used to type these up by hand with little mail merge replacements. So, hey, do you ever drop the ball and follow up? I mean, a SaaS that automatically follows up. How many thousands of people saw that? I don't know. Follows up with AI and the full context of prior conversations. That's kind of cool. We're just launching a beta, so I'm curious if you're interested in beta testing. I need to change that call to action. Let's use, typically, we find 150K plus in pipeline and just during 15 minutes or trial. How about during our free trial? And then curious if that's worth testing. Traditionally, I have to be very concerned about character limits here. This is now just an example method, or an example message, which is really, really interesting. So it could be too long. The AI is going to restrict the character limit. God bless Gemini. It's going to restrict the character limit later, and it's going to be great. So I've already done this for an entire sheet, but it's not all the way done. You know what's interesting? I've updated this since. It will parse over this. Oh, it has a lead type. Yeah, that's great. That's great. So we will use this list, right? Now, the way that I have my form set up, I just grab the export file. It's a particular type. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to parse that that particular acronym. That's up to you. Now, if we're going to sign off, which is, I don't really care if the AI signs off. I want the AI to do its own thing. That's how much I trust it now. You may remember a long time ago, if you're a marketing agency owner, 10 years ago, we spent a lot of time thinking about meta ads. We spent a lot of time thinking about 1% lookalike audiences, detailed targeting, and eventually, what was this, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, all of that came to naught, except maybe the remarketing component, because Meta's algorithm got really good. And at that point, it was no longer worth it for me to burn hours thinking about how I'm going to target people and whether or not they should have this interest but not this interest and do this and that. I still do some location targeting, but then now nobody knows. Let's put it another way. Agency owners know, customers don't know that the best targeting on Meta is just to have the pixel installed, right? Have reasonable conversion goals and just let it rip for a few $100s. And that's better than anything you're going to cook up. In fact, you're only hurting it. So fascinating thing here, the AI has reached that particular epoch where it is good enough to let it rip. Really, really neat. And if you remember my bit about the one sentence, the one sentence sucked anyway. All right. Expected industry. Do I want to limit people? In this case, no. I don't want to limit people. So there are a lot of clients that need to have very specific lead types, and some industries are really custom fit for something like a sales navigator search. Some are not, right? I love the VC filter on Sales Navigator. By the way, you're welcome. This is the culmination of 12 years of parsing through Sales Navigator searches, and I'm just handing it away for free. As far as I know, nobody else is they're not telling you this. They don't want you to know. They don't want you to have the power. The VC list, the VC and PE list is really, really tight on LinkedIn. The VC people are generally a good fit. You add in a little head count on there, and next thing you know, you're off to the races. Like, it's genuinely very good. You're not getting a lot of false positives. You're not getting a lot of false negatives. It's impossible, of course, to know the false negatives, but we would know if the total people coming up under the VC industry search was substantially lower than something like Perplexity telling me how many people work in VC and PE across the US, for example. So it's actually really, really good. Now, my favorite story to tell here, and I tell this to clients all the time, is this is less true now as well, by the way. Accounting used to be alphabetically first on LinkedIn, on Sales Navigator. And as a result, every orphaned company that didn't have an industry type was legit thrown into accounting. Completely ridiculous. So very few of the people in the accounting industry were actually in accounting. But let's use another example that's really, it's less funny, but it's more business practical. Let's say I want to target SaaSes, right? There's a lot of people that want to target SaaSes, SaaS owners, whatever, right? Just SaaSes in general. I can get that on Crunchbase. I can't get that on Sales Navigator. I can't get it on LinkedIn itself. And it's just impossible. So there are ways to translate from where I can get it, like Crunchbase. There are ways to get it with keywords on Apollo or Instantly, and then port those over to something like Sales Navigator. Of course, that's great. From an account-based perspective, blah, blah, blah. We have an entire SOP internally just to do that. But LinkedIn industry is often lacking. I have a client who wants to do MSPs, managed service providers. There are very few places. So I can scrape from aggregate lists, but those are not sorting by company size. And MSPs from Apollo seem to be the best fit, right? Apollo give me MSP as a keyword, and then SSP, I don't know what the difference is. I don't want to. And if I needed to ensure that I don't have false positives on the list, I want the AI to ascertain, based on its research, which we're going to see in a second here, exactly how well they fit into this mold. So in this case, I have it programmed so that no means that I don't care about the industry, and I don't. I think that this lead list is actually for marketing agencies, which is maybe a bad idea. We'll find out probably next week. But the main thing is salespeople. We're hitting salespeople directly. All right, I don't like that. It's a pain in the ass. What did I do? Did I take too long? Oh my god, dude. You're killing me. You're killing me. Can I go back? Oh no. All right. This is why we are going to reveal our API keys live on camera. Right? Of course that's why you reveal your API keys. All right. We're going to grab this. Boom. Company. Nurture away. Value prop. Hello, George. Blah, blah, blah. I'm curious if everyone on the read sales sprints. I kind of like what I wrote over here. A little bit more. Yeah. All right. We can just put that in right here. Don't have to send it through that. Now we got to get our sheet. You know, not that bad if it's just copy and paste. I didn't know we were time trialing. Spinning yarns. All right. Let's see if that worked. It's waiting. Oh, God. Oh, God. Ah! All right. So let's look at this. Break it down. Again, why am I so kind? Why am I so kind to you, dear viewer? All one of you, 0 of you. My mother is not going to watch this. My brother might, but I would have to be more saucy. All right. So here we have our form responses, blah, blah, blah. We're going to read the row. So we're getting the sheet has to be named sheet 1. There's probably some better workaround for that. The document URL, blah, 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 blah. And we're just getting the entire spreadsheet, right? Not very interesting, but obviously we have to get the spreadsheet. And then is lead type defined? Now this is a column that I'm adding in, and lead type is what is, all right, whatever. You can see that some are false, some are true. It's terminating. I don't want to deal with it. Lead type is a proxy that I'm using to determine whether or not this is already run through. So the list that I am working off of does not have lead type, and it's going to regenerate a lot of responses. I had to run this, I think, for all of last night. And what did I spend? Maybe $15 to get those responses. So goodbye responses. They should be a little better now because this is 2.0. Now we're going to have a basic set node. I don't necessarily think I need this, but we are going to just grab some information from the original form submission and pass it along. Again, do I need it? Probably not. I was getting rate limited. Can you believe that they would rate limit little old me? What did I ever do to Google? Actually, it might have been Perplexity. What did I do? I want to give you money. I want to shell out half a penny at a time to Perplexity to use your reasoning model. Please, Perplexity, let me give you the money. It's actually kind of interesting from the app development perspective. Whatever that rate limit was, I could not have been hitting it across all of my services and apps. Doesn't matter because I also kind of want the rows to update sequentially. Now, is this delaying how long this runs? If it does, then I will batch in bigger increments. So if you're not familiar with how batching works in N8N, you're batching. You got to figure it out. It's not that hard. All right. Now let's look at where the magic is. So obviously we're hitting Perplexity. Boom, 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 bong. Let's check it out. Kind of cool, huh? So Sonar Reasoning is stupid cheap. I'm not sure how they make it so cheap. Originally I was doing Sonar Pro. It was a worse fit because I do need reasoning, I guess. And it still was fetching like 3 sources, but the API costs were through the roof. So I managed to spend like $5 in seconds. I think across running this in all last night, let's get our lead count. It's like 700, right? It is cooking, by the way. Yeah, it's like 700. So to get about those 700, I think I spent $5 all of last night on Perplexity. And again, for context, it was $5 in probably about 30 rows combined across testing. So you're a professional B2B sales assistant. I'm not going to read this. You could pause or something. You've already got my API key. I'm going to flash my credit cards. Here's the Colloidal Gold, right? Use the affiliate link below. So you can steal all this from me, right? But you gotta do the work. I know you're not, so that's why I'm giving it to you. But I'm setting a system prompt. I'm giving it the user prompt. What is in the user prompt? It's so curious. Well, what do you think's in the user prompt? I want this guy to research everything about this. I think the really cool thing about this is, I forget what it is. It might be RapidAPI. There are ways to get LinkedIn profiles from a third party in a way that doesn't scrape LinkedIn and violate the TOS and get you banned and do all kinds of naughty person things. It's expensive, and the LinkedIn profile is not always that useful. Additionally, many LinkedIn profiles are publicly viewable. So what happens here is I give it the name, I give it the position, the company, the position, the LinkedIn profile, just in case, is a sales navigator URL. It actually turns out that doesn't matter. Perplexity is smart enough to figure this out, which is really cool. I tell it my value prompt, which is I'm the client in this case, and to be sure to return an estimate of prospect's age and a comment on their general tone if we find text authored by them. That actually improves my output significantly. I do, of course, want to, code switching. I want to code switch for the Gen Zers out there. I'm hip, I'm young, sure, I've got a lot going on here in the neck, chin department. I'm not looks maxing. I'm not mewing enough. But think about it. I know what that means. I've been on the internet long enough. I'm basically 12. I'm like a 12-year-old. I'm Sigma grindset, baby. So if I can communicate in a way that resonates with the target profile, so if I were a lesser man, I would call this psychographics, which is an abuse of an already stupid term. But it's obvious that you do generally want to communicate in the manner that is appropriate for the person's generation. So be sure to provide detailed explanation. I like that. A detailed explanation? No, detailed explanation of the current company they work at and the services/products that company offers. This is critical because we want to find genuine ends, right? We want the show me, you know me, and the personalized touch, but we want to be able to integrate this into their product offering. You're going to see how that works a little bit later with channel/referral partners. All right. Unless the next word in parentheses is no. Notice the single quotes to not break the JSON. Yeah, that tripped me up for 5 minutes there. No, it is no. So you must also determine if this business can be considered a no and explain this decision clearly in the output. It's actually my first run with the no prompt. Obviously, I want to make it industry insensitive. I want it to be promiscuous in matching industry. In this case, so we'll actually find out together if that works. Kind of excited. So I could try to look at the output here. It's going to be kind of a mess. But Perplexity feeds into check lead, which is a call to Gemini. God bless Gemini. I forget which model I'm using as well. No! Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, wow. This is really interesting. This is really interesting. So it is supposed to give me lead, partner, or no in this field. And it's giving me a lot of no's. It's giving me a lot of no's. Now, I'd love to see kind of the reasoning behind that. But what we can do is, we might as well pause, right? Maybe it'd be nice if you gave me a partner to show you what a partner is. But let's pause so that it doesn't flicker and ruin my life in the game here, just to try to look at this. I think I'm going to turn this into JSON. Okay, let's start by understanding the query. I don't know what model Sonar Reasoning is using. I mean, maybe Sonar Reasoning is legit, its own model. It's probably some distilled model. But this seems very R1-y, and they also offer an R1 model, which is interesting. All right, so whether Buddha is a no for their value proposition. That's great. So it is actually, it's giving me some good context here that will help me develop whether or not this no system will work. So let's start by understanding the query. The user wants information on Philip Herman, the CMO of Buddha. Which one am I on? I'm on Perplexity. Buddha. They craft a personalized outreach message for B2B sales pitch. They need details like his age, the company's products, blah, blah, blah. No for the value proposition, personal touches. That is correct, buddy. You got it. Look at it. And Perplexity is definitely not smart enough, in my experience here, my limited experience, to write the message. The messages that it wrote were god-awful. Sure, I could spend the rest of my life cycling through their like 15 models that they offer, the API, to be able to pay more for a worse output. I decided against that, right? I'm just going to pass it to Gemini after getting the research. Now, this is very poorly formatted. Let us take this over to Cursor. Quick advertisement for my boy Jolt. It is a little hard to get working, but I actually am kind of pumped about it, right? It seems like a really cool thing. I've gotten some good results with internal docs. We will advertise for Jolt later, all to petition him to give me free credits. All right. I've been like death fisting a thing of Zens here. Hold on. Get a Zoom. Fuck. All right, you're good. You, dear viewer, friends, that was the last moment before the Zen crisis of 2025. A calamity which has befallen my household. Specifically, the Zen fell on the floor. I bumped the Blue Yeti, the most sensitive microphone of all time. Incredible, paramount, essential for a sophisticated YouTuber such as myself. And I want to specifically shout out the design where if you even breathe on it, the cord falls out the back, and then apparently Loom crashes. And then you spend another 30 minutes, but because Blue Yeti disconnected, I was talking into this webcam, this shitty Chinese webcam that cost me $5. You can smell the quality from here. And that audio is really good. It was really good, and it was too good for your ears. It was just too precious. So I spent about 30 minutes talking to the shitty Chinese webcam with incomprehensible audio. Perhaps it came out as Chinese, it's unclear. And I'm going to be frank with you, a lot has happened between that part where I think I was showing you like check lead, and I was getting all pumped about the nose. You remember the nose? I was like, wow, it's going to reject some of these bad leads. That would actually be really cool because that way I would be able to get more mileage out of my precious outbound LinkedIn messages. And what else has happened since? Yeah, it turns out a couple things. Let's go over here. Let's go over here. Is that right? No, it's not right. Let's try this. Let's try this. Yeah. So, one, those no's, this should have been yeses. This should have been yeses, which breaks my heart. And they were trying to kick me out, trying to say no to the sales director and VP of business development at a B2B onboarding company. It was an amazing B2B onboarding company, all because that company chose to have a stupid name like Fluid, which happens that if Perplexity researches Fluid, it gets a lot of stuff about plumbing and then a lot of dumb AI shit. And none of those things were related to my boy Adam Young. Adam, shout out to Adam Young. He's making things happen at fluidonboarding.com. And this has revealed a critical flaw, an essential feature of this particular N8N flow is absolutely decimated. Since we have completely reversed our position on RapidAPI being expensive, turns out RapidAPI has a free plan for 150 credits. We are going to figure out, oh, look, we still have Fluid up. Look at that. See, I wasn't lying. Fluid. Simplified, seamless, secure. So I love this guy. This is ideal for Nurturely. This is entirely B2B lead generation. The guy has an amazing title. And instead, Perplexity spit out a bunch of bullshit about backflows. Shout out to my boy, the Backflow King. Based in New Hampshire. I don't think that's his actual business name. So that's good. You're still protected for now. So we need to fix that. I would accept some like 5-10% loss of potentially good leads, but this reveals a broader issue, which I'm not necessarily going to be able to detect unless I manually review everybody's account. So the issue is for companies with stupid names like Fluid, What happens if I can't publicly view their LinkedIn profile data to determine exactly which company they work at? The answer is Perplexity looks up anything related to fluid, Newtonian physics, ball bearings, dumb shit. And then it superimposes that onto my boy and makes it seem like he's in e-commerce. He's not in e-commerce. Adam has never been in e-commerce. He would never do that to us. So we have to fix this. Now, I'm pretty sure somewhere in here, I got RapidAPI up, Perplexity, blah, blah, blah. We can see how much money I spend. That'd be kind of interesting. Fresh LinkedIn profile data. So, good. Here are my API keys. Remember that part where we're best friends? And best friends, they can share a drink, right? That's not that weird. Do a quick body count check. Make sure that your boy's not carrying some diseases. But real men, real friends can share API keys with each other because that's definitely a good idea. And I don't even think I can reset this. Can I? No, I can't. Oh, that's really good. That's going to be really good. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to you using my API key. Well, I will shut down this account before you ever see this. I promise you. But let's explore adding RapidAPI to N8N. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's easy. RapidAPI. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. We ain't getting that for free. We get a Rapid 7. You want Rapid 7? I don't want Rapid 7. So we got to make an HTTP request. Friends, if you've ever seen me attempt to make a nascent HTTP request on N8N, you would know that this, in fact, is not a good thing. It's going to get ugly. Okay, cool. Cool. I kind of just want to, I guess I could try to curl it. The other question I have here is, will I be able to get, let's go over here. Is this personal? Yeah, okay, fresh profile data, API, blah, blah, blah. Passing in LinkedIn. Will I be able to get this from SalesNav? Other endpoints. Oh, get profile by SalesNav URL. Hell yeah, that saves me a step. Now, there is a way just with regex to convert them, but I really don't want to write that. Okay, neat. Let's go back to LinkedIn. We have to hit, where's our header? No, let's actually use auth. Predefined, generic. Actually, let's see if we have a predefined. Rapid, nope. I don't have a node, I don't have a predefined. That's fine. That's fine. Generic. Is it a bearer? Who noticed? Who's paying attention? No, it's a header. Wow, it's literally just a header. I'm not even sure if I want basic auth. Yeah, no. Basic auth is user pass, bearer auth, custom auth, header auth. That's what header auth looks like. I don't have this yet. Okay, cool. And then in the header, we also have to pass the endpoint, which is a little bit weird. Let's see if that worked. Well, no, I haven't given it what we're actually going to hit yet. Default application request URL. I can't copy it. Great. Fresh, blah, 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 blah. Get by SalesNav URL. That was good. Header auth. Send headers. And what header do I want to send? I want to send the host. I'm not sure why I'm saying the host in the header. I'm going to be honest with you. Right? Does that make sense to anyone? Probably shouldn't. All right, we're going to send that. Now, the rest are query params. LinkedIn URL. Great. LinkedIn URL. Value. Do not say my password. Hello. It's not a password, buddy. Now we gotta go way back. Let's see here. Google Sheet. No. Profile URL. Loop over items. Yeah, that's what I want. Header auth. Switch my header off. Oh, I didn't save it. Oh, good, I did save it. And I saved it over another one. That's good. It's definitely useful. Neat. Okay, no, that's had the potential to fuck up a lot of my shit, but it will not. All right. RapidAPI, header auth. I am also passing headers related to the host for some reason. Let's see what else I'm passing here in the query. Include, false, include skills, include certifications, include publications, include honors, include volunteers, include projects, include courses, include organizations. I want that to be true. I assume the rest default to false. I am accidentally adding the header. Let's put that over here. Is that in all caps true? No. Include patents. Interesting. Include honors. Volunteers. That's fine. I like the VC guys who, well, it's probably adds actually some expense. Maybe I don't want to. Include publications, certifications, skills, honors, organizations, I think is all I want. Yeah. I like the VC guys who volunteered entrepreneurial stuff. It's actually kind of a nice thing to mention. I have no idea where this step is. Let's pop out. Fascinating. This has to go before Perplexity. What is it going back into? It's going back into Google Sheets. I mean, you know, it'd be a dream, a fantasy of mine is if we had the company URL on this spreadsheet. We have a lot of shit on the spreadsheet. Got a picture. No, we don't. Okay. Okay, that's fine. And let's go back over here. Blah, 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 blah. Perplexity research. Yep, yeah. Let's grab everything here. We're shifting you down. And we're taking that there. We've got to have room. This needs a lot of room. Think about it. Now that can go directly into Perplexity research. Let's see if this works. You think it will? Might. Zoe got tired. Zoe is of a very high vibration as a result of her gold consumption. That vibration generates heat. That heat makes it a little bit annoying to have her in my lap. All right, let's put this over here. What's the issue? What's the issue? Did it error before that node? Why would that happen? Okay, so it passed 12 items. Oh, okay. Let's pin this. Pin. All right, come on, buddy. Just make it to here. If you're going to fail on the node that I probably screwed up. Connect a trigger to run this node. Wow, amazing. Something went terribly wrong. All right, let's try again. We're paxing 700 items. We're hitting the API. Let's pause it. Cool, cool. So it did return some stuff. Columbus, competitive edge, marketing services. Okay, I like this. LinkedIn URL. Company website. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, we did it. Now I merely have to pay 10 cents per prospect additional onto my 1 cent. So that's killing me. It's killing me. Ways to avoid that would be if I had a clever way to detect whether or not the company name is not going to be able to produce Perplexity results. As of right now, not a lot of clever stuff happening. Oh, there's not a lot of cleverness. So let's leave that be. All right, so I need this over here. Let's put this over there, and let us begin to edit. All right, so it had full name before. Now this is a prior node. Interesting. Part of me wants to do a merge rather than replace all these, but let's see what I got. I wonder if I could pass a JSON inside a JSON. And what would be interesting is the other aspect here is I'm getting all of his past employment, which could be valuable context. Client value prop 1 has my information. Okay, that's fine. We will begin to replace. So JSON full name. Let's find full name. We're doing it. We could speed this up or something. You could speed it up. You deal with it. There we go. Client value prop JSON full name. JSON full name. Okay. Item JSON full name. So I can just hash out half of this and use this to replace what I have going on. Great. Let's get rid of. Does that work? No, I took off the JSON. So I need to just get rid of the $sign. I need to just get rid of the $sign and add a period. All right, everything's green. Let us kill that which is old and does not serve us. Cool. And make sure I have no duplicates. I think I prefer to look at that over here. Okay. Yep. Competitive edge services. Great. So note that this is raw JSON because there is no Perplexity node, right? There's no Perplexity node in N8N. So I had to raw dog this node as a HTTP request as well. Now I could probably grab his company from before. That is from the scrape. That is probably better. Let's see here. Let's see. What do I want? I want a cursor. Format. Oh, that didn't work. All right, be right back. All right, we are back. Oh my God, it's thrilling. Format this selection. Jesus. Let's see if we can get a. We have a Prettify. Maybe we can install. Maybe if we viewed it as the entire JSON, that would work. It's one option. Oh, any second now. Oh, it's cooking. It's cooking any second now. All right. I've had multiple revelations in the time that we were apart. And, sometimes silence makes the heart grow fonder. I'm sure that you've had that experience, as have I. And, one of these things, a profound realization that has occurred to me over what to you perhaps seemed like mere seconds, but to me was a millennia of time, was that, one, this is very concerning that I can't install Motion's plugin after 5 years. I hope that this is spyware. That's the only justification for why my internet connection could be that bad. But let us continue back over here. All right. I want to replace company. Name, company, company. Here's company. Company, competitive edge services. So let's grab this and we will raw dog it right out of our last call, which is always a little bit dangerous. There we go. There we go. And I want to get the URL as well. So there's company LinkedIn, company website. Ooh, baby. Ooh, that's good. Let's see. This is profile URL. Now let's just add a new. I wish I could do line breaks in here. Company website, colon. Put the company website right here. Boom. Oh, that feels good. Connection count. I don't think that really does much for me. Let's get back over here. I do like tenure at current position. Current company's 9? Oh my god, dude. Is that right? Is that really what that is? Oh, that hurts me. Oh no, current company join month. Ooh, baby. That was close. Current tenure. Tenure at current position. Yeah, that's kind of cool. What else do we get from paying this 10 cents that's going to help me? See, part of me would love to just ingest this whole thing. I could probably flatten it. What do you think? Should I flatten it? I wish I could pass this as JSON. See, the experiences is all valuable. And I'm going to have to make like an array or something if I don't flatten it. I'm also going to get a lot of garbage if I flatten it. And now I could correct that. I don't have the patience to do that right now. So I'm certainly not going to do that right now. How do I flatten? Is it aggregate? Let's see. Aggregate from many items into a list. No, that is not it. Flatten? Nope. All right, let's see what else we got. Data transformation, code. Is it really going to be code? Restrict the number of items. Split out. Turn a list into separate items. Merge. Multiple data streams. Summarize. Yeah, wow. We have got a problem. We have got a problem because this sucks and we're going to have to do it by JavaScript. We've got to JavaScript it. Can I grab this? I can. Are you familiar with vibe coding? You've ever heard about vibe coding? Okay. See if I can copy. Copy selection. Did I select it? I guess I did. Cool. Oh wow, we're still installing Prettify JSON. We've got a serious problem. Yeah, this is the only one I got up right now. All right. I need an N8N, and then let's do docs N8N. Oh, really? Oh, really? Okay. So the problem with this is N8N has some specific docs, or some specific formats. N8N docs that we can only use in N8N. And it's this item stuff and the prior referential things. And all the, I'm old, so I'm calling it handlebars, the curly brace wrap stuff. That is kind of important to understand. I don't understand it. I don't want to understand it. I want Gemini to understand it. All right. I need an N8N, JavaScript code, script, to flatten. What is my file called? It's called untitled. All right. Ooh, baby, I don't want that anywhere near there. LinkedIn example. Actually, could use this inertially too. All right, let's save it there. To flatten LinkedIn example. Do I need to give it anything else? It must be one line and sendable inside of a JSON. No, is it called a key? A store? What do we call the object inside of a JSON as a text string? No quotes, double quotes. Is it called double quotes? Really, it's just called quotes. All right, and note that dangerously on the, oh God, on the reset here, because I updated my cursor, I tried to go to auto. If you hate yourself, it's a great time to go to auto. If you have any amount of dignity, you should be using Gemini 2.5. I think we already know that, my friends. Cool. This is a pretty simple test, so I'm confident that we'll get this. Will it work right away in N8N? Probably not. Debugging script nodes inside of N8N is a special version of hell, and it says that you can totally use console log inside of it. No, you can't. No, you can't. At least I don't think so. I've never been able to console log. Well, is that true? I have been able to in the past. The current self-hosted version I'm at, whatever that is, which is relatively up to date, you are absolutely not console logging. Wow. The one-liner JavaScript goes here. Oh, it's thinking hard. It's thinking really hard. Let's use a well-known flattened utility pattern and adapt it. This is an insane amount of chain of thought. I look forward to seeing how many seconds it's spent doing this. It's cooking up the whole caboodle. Whole caboodle right in here. It's interesting. It's one of those environments where Cursor's new background agent thing actually seems a little bit interesting. Is that right that it has its own virtual machine execution environment? I don't know. Here's a one-line JavaScript code. Oh fuck! It's obfuscated itself. Oh no! I think it missed the objective here by making it one line of obfuscated code. I needed to output in one line, but let's see if that works. Let's also pin this. Can I pin it? Remember back when pin was right on top? And yes, I can't say pin versus pin. You know, you write with a pen, you pin with a pen. Why we gotta make two words? It's a homonym, right? It's a good old classic homonym. All right, let's see if that works. Return, it does have a return statement on it. JSON F item 0. Const F, oh god damn it, it's obfuscated as hell. Okay. What did it do? It did nothing. Oh, so it flattened it. Yeah, it did flatten it. And to be fair, I asked it to flatten it. But it flattened it into a JSON. Great. I like to be positive. You know, I don't want to feel bad about itself. Great. Now we need to get it to output as a single string with no line breaks and no quotes. Do you think it's going to do it? And by the way, this is the only time I have Purple Brain off is for a quick one-off situation like this. Oh, wow. Wow. Wow, it's thinking. Think about all the thinking that I would have had to done to do this. You know, you give a chimpanzee a typewriter, and then it starts asking for milk, right? Same exact situation. You give me this problem, and I could spend the rest of my life on it. Or, alternatively, we copy and paste without reading anything the cursor output. Uh-huh. Okay. I can kind of assume 111.98. Maybe those are the things that break JSON. Let's see if that's right. I hope it maintains the colons. Is it cooking? Okay, yeah, it's cooking. Oh, shit. I pinned you, you stupid. Okay. Okay, let's see what cursor thinks it's doing. Is replaced by string literal object. The script is a single line, contains no line breaks, and blah, 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 blah. No. You gotta be harsh. We need to output a single line, a string, without line breaks, breasts, or anything else that would break JSON, as it will be injected into a JSON. There is a word for this, the opposite of a key. I'm sure it's burning a hole in your tongue. You're thinking about it, you're like, oh, you idiot. You know, you got the key and then you got the object, you got the body. JSON body? Maybe it's body. All right. Gemini, I need your help, buddy. I need you to figure it out. Okay, yeah. Yeah. JSON stringify, baby. That's exactly right. And they say that using AI makes you dumber. Does it? Does it matter? As long as Gemini has fastest token per minute and high uptime? The answer is no, my friends. It doesn't matter that it's made me dumber. All right, we're going to copy it. Finally, it's stringified. Did we even need to flatten it first? Now I actually have some doubts. Let's see what it's doing. Yeah, it shrunk it down. It probably didn't actually have to get flattened. It probably just needed to get JSON stringified. You know, I think one thing that is interesting here is a lot of shit going on in between the stringify and you know, that return and the const. Okay. A JSON property isn't an object, item 0. In the return data, every key named JSON must point to an object. Okay. So this is where we've lost. So item with ITM. This is where we have lost the plot with N8N. Problem is, I am unaware of this obfuscated code. Deobfuscate. We have this error. Nope, that's not the error. But the problem is that we need some kind of special variable to tap into. Keep in mind, this is a script. I'm kind of embarrassed to be at 4 prompts now. Inside of a script block in N8N. And I'm going to hit the docs again. Who's going to stop me? Fun fact, 0 shot, 1 shot. We are attempting to 0 shot, which is why this is not good. 1 shot would involve providing examples. I think I did give it sufficient context, kind of, but it definitely could have benefited from some examples. Google, you know, I love you, Google. I hope you don't see this. If you do see this, please give me money. But if you see this, forgive me for not taking everything about your prompt engineering course to heart just yet. You know, old heart moves slow. Sands of time heal all wounds unless they get infected. And Can't believe I'm testing prior nodes. Okay, flatten data string. Yeah. Okay, did it flatten? Did it really flatten? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's not even that long. This is going to make the Perplexity search much more expensive, which is a little bit interesting. Here is my Perplexity. Let us inject that in. Flatten data string. Can I get rid of basically everything that I had? Name. JSON data company is now gone. Yeah. Remember how we just changed that? Now we're getting rid of it. Let's, before value prop. Okay, so I don't need this. 10-year current position is now going to be contained in my flatten bit, and it's not that important to list out separately. I'm not sure. Well, I still have, yeah. I think the company website, which by the way is the entire reason that I would even consider paying 10 cents per lead to do this. The company website has got to get in there. So we will back that up. And did we lose the company? We lost the company. Here's the company. Boom. Thank God most people have one job. Right there, baby. Ooh, that's fat. Ooh. Ooh, that's a lot of input tokens. Hot mama. Hot mama. All right, let's see. Now I passed the sales nav. Did it return a raw LinkedIn URL, or is this only company URLs? Company LinkedIn, about, city. City, that's a little interesting, I guess. Not optimistic. Public public ID. LinkedIn URL. Yeah, we got it. We got it. Client value. Link blah 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 profile URL. So that is a sales nav URL. Nothing wrong with that. But if I'm paying 10 cents, I am maximizing the chance of LinkedIn being able to parse the URL itself. Or I'm sorry, of Perplexity being able to parse the URL itself. Okay. So I like this. This is a good thing. It's not a bad thing that I have to spend 10 cents per lead now. No, this is wonderful. I'm grateful for the opportunity. Honestly, if the entire point of this is not to whine and cry about 10 cents, it is to minimize the complexity, the perplexity, to be able to get the most bang for our buck, right? Because the money on the other end here is so much greater than 10 cents per lead. And 10 cents per lead makes it sound trivial, but many lists are 30,000. You know, let's start running, right? As I'm running my mouth. Imagine how fun it would be to use 100% AI personalization like this in cold email. It'd be really, really compelling. It'd be really interesting. But the lists are so big with cold email that if I'm doing 1,500 a day, I'm spending probably between all the APIs about $25 per day. And, you know, that adds up. That does add up on the cost. And we need a clear, the JSON's broken, of course it is. We need a clear return. And this is ultimately experimental. And thus, I'm complaining about elevating the cost. It's because the cost will, in fact, stack up. Yeah. Hey, remember that bit where I said don't use quotes? Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm just going to have it strip all the double quotes. That's why it broke the JSON. After stringify, we need to strip all... Why do I keep thinking double quotes? Sure, it parses. Yeah, what is it up to? So it just flattened the list and then it stringified it. What was all, whatever. And this is why we never zero shot, my friends. We never, ever, ever just tell it what we want. We tell it what we want in an example. And that would have saved a good chunk of time. not as much time as it takes to install Prettify JSON, the Visual Studio Code Prettify JSON extension, but it would save us a lot of time. All right. I believe, I'm a believer. I do think that we are probably good now. So let us investigate. Boom. Yep. Yep. That is what it should look like. It should have added just a little bit. All right. Because basically I just want to regex over, I'm sure it's smarter than me. I'm sure it's using some string character code situation bullshit. Okay, that worked. Let us get back to running that through Perplexity. Let's see if that clears Perplexity. And by the way, stripping, dealing with line breaks and quotes is part of the magic of N8N, which is why whenever we have to make our own HTTP nodes, it's a little bit sad. It makes me a little bit sad, That I get a little bit sad now. But we'll see if that worked. Ooh, we got it. So let's check our output here. So it believes this guy's a partner. I don't even know who this is. We're going to have to pause. We're going to have to pause after this to make sure that it can actually display to us. And I am very curious what the total costs are here. There are probably fun ways to track it even inside of N8N because it does show you the input tokens, the output tokens. And I could run that through a pricing table. I would not bring that level of perfection to this myself. I'd pass that off to my lead developer to make it beautiful and perfect. And then that would also help with client expensing. All right, so if I'm going to expense this for a client, because we are thinking of going, you see Link Gorilla full auto, we're thinking of switching to 100% AI generated. Right now we're in that testing phase to make sure that we actually get a better response rate. I could expense a per use, maybe with a markup to the client, at a nice 30% markup on there. It's not going to be a lot of money, but it would put things in perspective when people ask for big lists. I think it's my fault because I often explain to people that I pay $5,000 a month in B2B databases so that you don't have to. And they think that that means I don't, the money's already spent or something. It's sometimes it's already spent. All right. Dave Marshall, who works at Competitive Edge Services, age estimate. Yeah, I like how it emphasizes the age estimate. No. Let me attack they might be a no, but based on this info, they're in IT services, so they might appreciate such tools. The answer here leans towards no, if they don't need such solutions. All right, company, Competitive Edge, LinkedIn, no access to profile details beyond provided URL. Okay, that's fine. I literally gave it to you. A little concerning. IT, cloud services, ERP, neat, tech consulting. Okay. So this guy, if he is a sales guy, he is my guy, right? These are long sales cycles. Salespeople at technical places tend to be promoted from being technical people. There's this perception. I don't know if you're listening, friend, who told me that you need a technical account manager to be able to do your sales. Actually, a friend of mine told me that he needed what was it? It was like a traveling yoga pants or something. What was it? It was like a traveling CTO to do his sales because it's a technical product. In reality, as a good sales guy who is trained and onboarded onto the offering is always going to outperform a very technical guy. And there are some personality clash things as well. Not to say that introverts and analytic people can't sell. They absolutely can, but usually not to each other. And there's just because it's a soft skill, just because sales is a soft skill doesn't mean that there can't be a big skill gap there. All right, value proposition, blah, 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 blah. Pretty damn good. Suggest, okay, confirm LinkedIn or direct outreach. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Check lead yields partner. Okay, it's valuable. An IT provider would have a big customer base that certainly has a lot of people that are also B2B. The other nice thing here is partner does not preclude me from selling directly. And in fact, it can just be a soft lead in. So let's see where it outputted that. Oh yeah, we already have a lot of these. So here we are. Hi Dave, notice you're consulting a competitive edge. Spesh. I like that. With SMBs using Dynamics Nav. Okay. I have to figure out, again, I have to figure out what the hell that is if I'm going to talk to this guy, but not before. Your focus on reactivating leads for those clients also caught my eye. Is he really doing that? Is he really doing that? We're in a similar space. Curious about how you approach there. We're curious about your approach there. Yeah, that's extremely sensible. I have doubts that he is reactivating leads because virtually nobody does, which is the core issue with selling nurturally. It's hard to convince people that they have, in fact, the people that they wrote off as lost and dead cannot, in fact, come back into the fold just because they ghosted you for 3 emails or something like that. But whatever, right? So I am a little bit curious what the research indicated to say that that person is. This is a no. It's very interesting. Let's look. What the research indicated to lead us to the fact that this guy's also reactivating leads coincidentally. It's just quite removed. Now let's see here. T360 MKT. Director of Sales Marketing. Damn it, dude. Director of Sales and Marketing. Okay, whatever. I mean, is that B2B? Director of Sales. Director of Sales is good. That's why I'm frustrated. To be tossing out a Director of Sales for, let's be real, a consumer brand is not going to get away with a name as stupid as TKMT 2750 or whatever. I am for equity. Okay. Never let your failures blind your dreams. Okay. Okay. I guess we pick up and move on after our failures. I'm not 100% sure what's going on there. Learn from it. Something like that. That'd be nice. Where is her... Okay, so T360. God damn. 500 to 1 million in revenue? I really doubt that. Brazil. Explains a little bit. The auditor. So he's Portuguese. He's in Portuguese. She's in English. And that's all the employees of this $1 million marketing company. Okay. Give me a website. Oh my God, dude. Sales app sucks. LinkedIn, if you hear this, first thing you could do would be to make your pricing affordable, as in possibly profitable, even remotely possibly profitable for SMBs, and I'd advertise with you like crazy. Second thing you could do would be make the sales nav profile interface suck less. Oh man, ocorro erro crítico neste site. De problemos no WordPress. Damn, dude. Damn. Our girl is having a problem. Let's see if it's T360market.com. I feel bad now making fun of this stupid name because it's probably just some kind of Brazilian thing. I don't know. I'm sure they just take all the vowels out of everything over there in Brazil. Portuguese has never even heard of a vowel, except for ocorreu erro crítico neste site. All right, so this is a mess. She is not working at a real company. So yeah, maybe that is a no. We didn't see the reasoning, which is interesting, right? We didn't see the reasoning that Perplexity made or Gemini made. But yeah, if your site is dead, you probably are not, even if you're a sales director, I probably don't want to reach out. Okay. For a second there, I started freaking out that I was speaking Portuguese myself over here. I'm glad I am not. Okay, so we got a few more. We got another no. Joe. Notice your focus is entirely on automation and reactivating pipeline. Is that true? Love the no manual data entry approach. With your quality real-time leads, how do your clients manage consistent follow-up? Is this really a thing this guy is saying? It's just too coincidental. Because that's nurturally, right? So this is no manual data entry and automation and reactivating pipeline. That's probably a error. So your PR success that building that big black book is impressive. That sounds great. That sounds like a good show me, you know me. Transitioning that skill to sales at US Analytics. How to use past compos. How do you ensure past compos are revisited? Okay. The RTM 90%. What? PTSD remission rate? As you scale clinician training. Okay. It's possible. Saw your LinkedIn mentions a focus on lead reactivation. God damn it, dude. I really, really doubt that. I really doubt that he's mentioning a focus on lead reactivation. Let's go back to this end. We have to investigate this, right? So PTSD thing, I can suck that up. That's fine. But this no manual data entry, automation, and reactivating pipeline, we need to look up Inquirely, and the odds of Inquirely being, talking about that, doing that is next to nothing. So we will look at Joe. Damn, Joe. Regular McAfee. Let's look at this. Most important thing, yeah, baby. I like the beard too. Most important thing here is obviously bicep size. We're trying to gauge everyone by bicep size. Let's look at Inquirely as well. See if he has made posts about something. Home service contractors, eager to grow your business, high quality leads and inbound calls. Okay, see, this is what he's actually doing. Inquirely connects home service pros like you, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, only pay for real leads. Let's see what else we get from this. Exclusive leads. So in the past, we had this because I remember specifically seeing a message not dissimilar from that. Sales and biz devs. This guy's job title is perfect. And it's a lead gen agency, which is perfect. And did he find out that I'm in Denver? I'm in Boulder, by the way. Don't you dare confuse me with a mere Denverite. Yeah, that's cute. If so, let's look at Apollo. Let's see if Apollo. They're based in Denver? No, they're based in Texas. I like that. That's a cute little website feature, right? Pinpointed my IP and then made up some stuff about Denver. That's really, really cool. Very well done. Yeah, hell yeah, Denver. Mulder will lead for $75. Amazing. I think a lot of these service-based lead gen companies are extremely legit. I've talked to a lot of service-based and trade people who complain about them endlessly. Oh, it's $75. There are very few opportunities in marketing to simply just trade money for leads, and a directory like this is really cool. Okay, so I love Joe. Biceps are cool. His company is good, and is lead gen, which is a great fit. But now let's go back here. We're talking about lead reactivation and automation and Inquirely. The odds of that are next to none. So we need to revise. It seems like we're rolling one of these, conflating the form entry value prop, which in this case is nurturally, with the prospect value prop. Rarely, like 1 in 10, something like that. See the last one we did. With so many moving parts. See, many of these are fine. Your line about automating follow-ups with perfect emails based on conversations. How about you go fuck yourself, Gemini? We love Gemini until we hate it. Because look at this, dude. Ramify's work. I don't know what Ramify is, but this is nurturally, right? This is clearly nurturally bleeding over. So over here, your LinkedIn focus on automating is spot on. Fusion's custom, yeah. Okay, so we're getting a lot of that bleed over, actually. I thought it was quite limited. And I'm surprised that anything that I would have done would have resulted in that. So we're going to pause. We're going to wait for N8N to cook here. Some story brand. How to become a highly paid marketing consultant. What are you reading, dude? Piglot? Tyler Piglot? Maybe he wrote that for story brand. What's his name? Tyler Piglot. Pigot. Sorry, Tyler. Pigot. Dude. It's one of those times. By the way, if you have a meeting with a client whose name is easily mispronounceable, something that sounds kind of gross, like pig, really important to nail that. Number two, this guy for his entire life has gotten bullied over pig-related shit. Okay, agency coach for story brand. Yeah, so it's kind of like a franchise thing you pay into. Interesting. I don't think that. So this does not have nurturally bleed. Let's look back at this. Let's find one that is just obviously wrong. Competitive edge, reactivating leads. That's obviously wrong, but there was one that was entirely wrong. Yeah, Joe. Is this Joe Cohen? Yeah, our buddy Joe. It breaks my heart because I love Joe, which makes this unacceptable, by the way. If I see Joe getting caught up in the mix here of people who just get crushed, yeah, T3 Tech Marketplace, T360. Dude, oh, so they moved to T360. All right, whatever. Maybe she does work for a real company. And maybe it found the wrong website. That's also possible. Zoom info, Marty Singer. Marty Singer's email, Signal hire. Data about you or someone with a product, service, whatever. Okay, this is not Joe. Let's find Joe. Inquiry. Yeah. All right, so we're getting all the websites here, right? All these are inquiry. I like that. The ultimate solution for home services lead generation. Now, it's possible that our boy Joe here has, in fact, had some blog post situation where he is talking about lead reactivation. It's very low. It's improbable. Damn, dude, Prettify JSON is still going. I think we both know that ain't right. What is this? Take some Japanese shit, I guess. First one doesn't install, right? Obviously, this is more related to my internet connection than anything. All right. At least we can kind of read it here, right? So let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Let's get rid of the think. Or let's get past the think. If I can't format this right. Lead profile analysis, Joe Cohen, director of sales, inquiry, mid-30s to early 40s. Yeah, I would be buddies with Joe in a heartbeat. Blah, blah, blah. Tony communication and automation, data-driven workflows and lead reactivation. Pragmatic tech-savvy approach. Focus on efficiency and ROI. Okay, so right here from lead reactivation and automation. It's possible, but his LinkedIn profile emphasizes that. So we're immediately getting this from Perplexity. This is not Gemini's fault. This is already baked in here. His client value proposition highlights no manual data entry and identifying hundreds of thousands of pipeline quickly. Yeah, website, nurturally. No, inquire. Where is it getting this shit? Yeah, lead generation for home services. Oh God, what did I do? It says no. That's cute. Aligns with your solutions. The core on quality leads, real-time delivery suggests gaps in automating follow-ups and reactivating cold leads. Your automation tool, yes. So this is a good fit. Decision, no. How does it come to a no decision? Oh, God. Okay, so Perplexity is way too stupid to be deciding if these are a fit. The reasoning is fine, but it gives me is inquiry a no. The decision, no. Okay, so this could be fuckery from my no situation. Let's see. I don't even think I'm feeding that into Perplexity. All right. Oh, my flattened data string. Where'd it go? Oh, now it's called process string. Oh, okay. So that wasn't hitting, and then the client value prop was right next to it. So perhaps it thought the nurturely client value prop was there. All right. I've helped 3,000 contractors scale their home businesses, automate, blah blah blah. Let's see if there's automation, exclusivity, live service. So no, it was reading our client value prop. Automate lead follow up, find hundreds of thousands in all leads. Okay, so we need to clarify what this is. Our value prop to this client. We need this because we need something like the fit, right? Our value prop to this client value. Be sure to estimate the prospect's age, tone. Be sure to provide detailed explanation of the current company services, unless the next word in parentheses is no. Okay, so we're already doing the no. You must also determine, so Perplexity is not smart enough to handle this. Can be considered a no, and explain this decision clearly in the output. So no is not going to work for us across here. So what can I do? Gemini is smart enough for no. Perplexity is not smart enough for the no. If I left it blank, which I could, then can this company be considered a I could do I could broaden based on the form to turn it into B2B business. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do because that is trivial. I can get rid of all this shit here. This unless the next thing, blah blah blah. You must also determine if client value prop current company can be considered a B2B business and explain this decision clearly. Yeah, that works. We also have similar stuff on the check lead. That is the stage where we check them. If the following company, so for this guy, can I go forward? No. So what did it output? Did it output no? It output partner. So Gemini is smart enough to figure this out. All right. If it cannot be described with the above term, and I could just use business. All right. If the following text is anything other than no, I'll get rid of that. We need to confirm the prospect is currently working at a company that could be described with the following term. Yeah. And we're always going to have something to put there because in the worst case, let's be real, I could just put business. Is the current company a business? Yes, it is a business because it has made $8 million in sales. Great, right? B2B business. Beautiful. That saves me a lot of headache. All right, now let's go over Joe again. Let's start with Joe. I love Joe. Joe, I notice your focus. I absolutely adore Joe, and the fact that it would try to take me off of Joe. One, I want to hang out with Joe. I bet I could smoke cigars with Joe. I mean, look at my face. I've smoked some cigars. Don't do it with the baby around, right? Got the cute little baby. I basically stopped smoking. Reminds me it's time for a little re-up on the Goldschlager here. We do have to keep pounding little gold to keep our brain functioning. and re-up on the Zens, right? So switch to Zens, but I don't know. Go out for a few hours, wash my hands real good, maybe avoid just like shoving my fingers in the baby's mouth. I could probably smoke a cigar with Joe. It'd be a lot of fun. And more importantly, he's BD and sales director at a lead generation company. So this is both a partner opportunity, as Gemini correctly identified, as well as a valuable client, super valuable client. Lead gen companies so far are the best performing for nurturing. So if I feed you general information with sales directors and you exclude my ICP, then we got work to do, right? So let's see. Let's flip flop back over here. So he's a partner. That is correct. See what it spits out. I'm still upset about that 10 cents per lead, though. They should also fix some of our no's. Actually, you know what? The more important issue is telling me that everyone is doing lead reactivation when literally nobody does lead reactivation. It's not even a common term. Your work at Inquiry Lead generate exclusive, high ROI restoration leads for 3K contractors is seriously impressive. You set them up for wins. Hell yes, dude. Could perfect follow-up automation for their teams amplify the value you already deliver? You are knocking it out of the park. Thank you, N8N. Thank you, little buddy. So it's going to Tucker now. Building a company often means juggling countless priorities. How do you ensure no potential client? Yeah, I think we are doing better these days. I think we are improving. So that's good. And we're on number 2 now. We're right number 2. I don't know who this is for. It could be for one of these guys. Could be for this guy, actually. Pretty neat. So what did we learn today? All right, hold on. VP of Sales at Tixta and Peso. IO, busy guy. Love Tixta's mission. Social into lead magnets, especially in Miami. Okay. With so many leads, how do you ensure nothing slips through? It's valid. That's fine. It's a decent call to action, open-ended question. Cool, baby. We're cooking. We're cooking with gas now. Let this run all night. Wake out to find my bank account is completely drained. So actually, yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. So I've been playing with this 2 days. Let's see if I can show you any more API keys. So start paying attention. Get your screenshotters ready. Somewhere in here I had my Perplexity bill. Perplexity is a little chunk of change here, right? We hit 1 million. So that is standard pricing. That's probably about $15. Now, goofy fun fact about the Perplexity page here. So I think I re-upped to $5. It does not, maybe I can view this. Okay, May 10. Yeah. So we can figure out exactly how long I've been doing this. May 10. Is that today? It's today. So I re-upped today for $5. It doesn't really tell me much. Current billing period, $7.84. So that is definitely right. Let's come back over here. Good. I don't want to change this key, so I'm glad I'm not showing you my key. $5 remaining. Damn it. Oh, hold on. 510. Okay, so I've spent $10 on Perplexity today. And yesterday spent $5. Okay. So Perplexity altogether has been about $15 for so far about 1,000 things. Since the previous version had a lot less input tokens, it was a lot cheaper. So it's not really fair to be able to project this going forward. But I would expect 1,000 to be probably about $5 on Perplexity. 1,000 is going to be $10 on the LinkedIn profile grabber, probably. We could probably check back there too, even though I hate going there because I'm showing you my API key. And Gemini is probably about $2 or $3. I'm really ballparking on Gemini, and maybe I wake up to a nasty surprise, but Gemini is pretty damn cheap. Okay, so we've pumped out 4. Really, like, did we already do that one? Okay. Fluxing is support for SMBs and your take on AI's power. Your Monarch Garden volunteering is great too. With Fluxing growing, how do you make sure every lead chat continues? Cool. Hi, Rachel. Congrats on the new VP sales role. K-12 sounds like a school. I hope not. Exciting to see your AI focus for lead intel. Okay. As you're building things out, how are you approaching consistent follow-up? Pretty good, pretty good. VP of sales is a great role for me. And I wonder now, I don't think we're going to get any no's. Yeah, that's a good point. Because pretty much everyone will be a B2B business. We did have an e-commerce person, if I remember right. Your results-driven sales style is clear, content line with big OCM migrations, keeping prospects engaged is vital, especially without teams getting bogged down. What's your secret to efficient follow-up at scale? Yeah, cool. That's good. Party group, merging client campaigns. Yeah, I mean, altogether, I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it rewrite everything above where? Here. Notice great reaches, 20 years exclusively helping printers, mailers. Okay. Such a niche market. I kind of like that. The old ones are okay too. Saw your insights for balancing sales automation with human touch. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, generally, a lot of these are pretty good. I don't want to delete too many of them. I will probably delete up to here. And then revisit those. This first 15. Yeah, honestly, the rest of these are pretty good. Which means I may just drag lead all the way down. So list is about 700, by the way. You remember my $15. That's where this went. And then we'll skip those now. Ooh, we do have some blanks. So, future optimizations. I'm going to be done yelling at the microphone. The kids are going to wake up from the nap. We got to be done. We got to be done. Anyway, it's a pleasure meeting you guys. Hopefully, I learned something. Maybe you did too. I don't know. All right. So, future optimizations. And I will even make a note here. Check for both message and lead type. That's important because I can't have a single blank message. What else do I need to make sure I do? Message and lead type. Save LinkedIn API calls to spreadsheet. Save money in case I reprocess. That's the bulk of the expense per lead. All right. Cool. Pleasure to meet you. Closing thoughts. Cold outbound with AI is definitely very interesting. And I see a lot of progressions that can and will be made here. I initially wrote this off because I've been doing cold outbound for more than a decade. And I wrote it off because I was using... Wait, I guess I should be talking like this. I was using ChatGPT 4.0, and that is dog shit. It doesn't work at all. And now the Gemini's here, it is critical time to kind of reevaluate. The most important thing with AI tool development in general is obviously context, both being able to feed the right context, which is more or less solved with a million token count with Gemini for sales, not for code bases, but for sales. And then with that correct context, be able to feed it a decent prompt to be able to get a decent response. With cold outreach, we really care about show me you know me. Show me you know me between a LinkedIn profile and Perplexity is pretty much cooked. It's wrapped, right? We have a lot of show me you know me just between those. Future optimizations, I may or may not integrate into this particular LinkedIn flow, which will be harder to do across clients, but be things like warm introductions, or at least the perception of a warm introduction or a network. The refinement of the value proposition and specific use case. So if I were approaching these companies cold, let's say that I had a referral and I need to investigate exactly what my proposal would be for this specific company. There's a lot more research that goes into that. That might be solvable just with Perplexity deep research on an individual company, breaking that out into multiple nodes. It could be possible to use agents to detect whenever I have enough context and when I don't, to be able to make a value prop that applies for their specific company. In this specific case, given the opacity of sales processes that are internal to companies, I'm not sure if that's necessarily the case. For many of my clients, however, that definitely could be the case. Right? I can investigate whether or not you have a current cloud provider or something like that. There are even specialty APIs that be able to fetch that information. And you can see how that would be readily reintegrated here. Oh, look at that. We failed on a Perplexity. But the emoji's great. The upside is large, but I'm still skeptical of AI first cold outbound. I've seen amazing results with warm follow-ups through Nurturely, which isn't also entirely AI first. The difference in that case is I have the prior correspondences, I have the client's buying intent, and I even have their level of product awareness, like whether or not they're shopping for alternative products, if they have delayed timelines, etc. Barring that information, we're not near the peak of what we can achieve with cold outbound and AI, but it leaves a lot to be desired, probably even at that peak. Until, I don't know, until we figure out like buyer intent tools that actually work, or, you know, our B2B and similar tools like that are really, really robust, and maybe even delivering other website browsing history, etc. Using that in a non-creepy way is always a challenge, but I think AI would be up for that. N8N is a great prototyping tool. I also use it a lot in production for myself and for clients. The speed is garbage. The speed is absolutely horrible. The debugging is really palpable. And you can see that I ran over 10 items in the list, and then I hit some chick with a bunch of emojis. Or dude. Yeah, it's a dude named Justin. Sorry, Justin. And those emojis probably broke my JSON. And so having access and insight into how to debug in production, which invariably for cobbled together RevOps flows like this, we're going to need to have that, and N8N excels where other tools fail. This kind of hands-on debugging, where I'm semantically debugging the LM responses, is critical and definitely more of an art than a science. It was clear, for example, that the Nurturely prompt of lead reactivation and lead nurturing automation, etc., was bleeding over into the clients. And that was a technical issue that was relatively easily felt. In other cases, it's much, much more subtle. And thus, the development of AI products like this take a lot of time and attention. The All In podcast describes it very well as a matter of taste. Taste. When I am looking through the responses, or I'm sorry, the the cold follow-ups that's generating, I'm getting a flavor score intuitively. And that is why we are vibing. We are vibing with our intuition as to whether or not if I got that message, if I was that dude, would that actually work? Would that feel authentic? And there's not much of a way around that. The rise of AI tools in general is empowering not only people with taste, but people with a keen intuition coupled with empathy to be able to design things that do have a stronger, more human feel. Not just for the irony here of sending automated messages that need to look and feel human, but for developing more human and relatable UIs. For example, I have purchased many a tool that I have canceled due to UI issues and the counterintuitive nature of its workflow. Next time on, what are we, Vibepreneur channel? Vibepreneur. I'm going to figure out how to say that in a way that doesn't bring me like deep shivers of cringe. 2, we will probably do a little bit more vibe coding outside of N8N, probably on a production app. I do want to talk about some exciting stuff that I've done with Jolt and how to work on large code bases. I'm doing a handful of go-to-market strategies right now. I'm happy to just share the results of that, and you can pity me. You know, you can say like, wow, this poor guy. Because I did notice that I love you, TK. I do. I adore you. TK is dominating the SaaS GTM YouTube algorithm. He is absolutely crushing it. The production value is really high, but there is kind of a dearth as opposed to generalities in that space. Similarly, I've noticed that a lot of the vibe coding hacks, tips, and tricks I brought to my team are also not really palpable anywhere else in the educational stuff that I've seen on YouTube. One, it's hard to get educational content in general on vibe coding. 2, the stuff that you can get is a little less, this is way too long. God bless you for letting me steal away hours of your life. Hopefully I'm on like quadruple speed. I don't know how to help you. There is a Chrome extension that you can get to put all your videos on quadruple speed. So you should definitely do that. If you ever intend to watch one of these, if you made it this far, you definitely should be doing that. But yeah, God bless you for giving me potentially hours of your life. This is going to be a little bit more over the shoulder with pearls thrown in, if you can call it that. And those pearls themselves are hard to access. I am not going to pay a video editor to make this nice. Most will blur out my API key. Maybe in the future, we will extract pearls of wisdom about vibe coding and be able to be a true resource for how to be more efficient, how to do less damage, and proper project management workflows in this new era, right? So, I collaborate with anywhere from 2 to 4 people on Nurturely for the development. And project management and development to begin with was very hard, but it moves slowly enough that you can still kind of keep track on things and set off little webhook alarms on your internal Slack whenever somebody takes too long to do a thing, and then make them apologize to you and grovel. So that was definitely a good idea of mine. But nowadays, the issue is not speed so much as accuracy. And yes, you should check your Git pulls, right? Your merges. Well, no shit. Yeah, maybe CodeRabbit's good. I don't know. I'm not using CodeRabbit. I think more important than that is being able to accurately define tasks, to be succinct, which AI is not very good at being succinct, and then being able to map out how to solve a particular problem in at least some detail in the task itself. So we can also talk about management issues. And then what else can we do? I don't know. Maybe I share fun facts about lead generation, RevOps. It's kind of what we were doing here. We're vibing out my latest RevOps flow that I'll probably use for many of my clients. But lots to come. Thank you for your patience. I did wear myself out. This is fucking exhausting talking to myself like a psychopath. You know, I don't know how they do it. I'm gonna call PewDiePie. I'm very good friends with PewDiePie. I'm gonna set a quick chat to Asmongold. Have him tell me how he does it all day. Goodbye. Goodbye.